I'm talking from Ish from ProspectEngine with his business partner, Simon Well.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Excellent, yeah.
Muse.
Why are estate agents so bad at prospecting?
Ooh, okay, let me put my diplomatic hat on.
Hope you're not wearing your diplomatic hat.
I think that they are not best placed to offer a outbound call service. Trying to task valuers to make 150 calls a day to historic data when they're wearing so many hats within the business is fruitless. Okay. I think that you have to have a real structure to your prospecting. You have to be consistent. There's no point in doing it once a month or twice a month. You have to be consistent and proactive with it. So I wouldn't say that they are bad, but they can improve in areas and we can.
So you think it's time?
It is definitely time. It is time. It is, I guess, inclination. On occasions, it is gumption.
I think time is a poor excuse. I think it's something deeper than that. Simon.
Well, I will say they're bad, and so to be brutally honest about it, they're bad. But there's a number of reasons for that, and namely, they have far too many hats. In every other walk of life, when you specialise, you get better at something. When it's the last thing you think about, and you've got a million other things that are keeping you busy, that's really, really hard to separate. So those businesses that they protect that power hour of prospecting. You know, people like Streets Ed, for example, they do 2 power hour sessions a day, do it religiously, nothing else gets in the way of it. Those are the firms that are actually delivering on it, and you know, it's probably fair to say are going to be the last people to buy our service. But
well, saying that, you know, Perry Power, Power Bespoke that we recently engaged with, very heavy on prospecting. Yeah. Although we have had some great synergy, and we booked in quite a few market appraisals for them and got them a few listings to boot. So
I think the thing you guarantee with us that you don't have it in with your own business is consistency. Yeah. Consistency, scalability, knowing that we, you know, leave it beholden to us that we're going to be doing this, and it's not going to be a dynamic of what the market's like and whether, you know, you're going to do those calls that day or not.
Do you think it takes a certain? I mean, again, in a previous chat, we talked about whether valuers were good closers or openers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Expand a bit more on that.
It is a personal thing. I mean, look, I've had estate agents say to me, I hate making phone calls. I hate it. Put me in front of someone and I can close business all day long. Okay. But I despise making phone calls.
So would it be fair to say most good valuers are damn good at closing?
Yeah. Look, the vast majority of our closers, and they're out there. That's the show. They're the rock stars, if you like, in terms of that. And I'll talk about when I went to Australia. We'd seen all these Aussie agents come over here, hadn't we?
Yeah.
And so Mr. Simon Well, the greatest smoke blower in history, had gone around to all the Aussie agents I've been with. I said, I love your market's fantastic here. You're all rock stars, and they were all like this. Until I got to one guy there, Mark McLeod, who was Ray White, the largest in there. And excuse the language, he says, they're all fucking idiots, mate. And excuse the probably Apu accent there. But he genuinely said there, and I was like, okay, well, I've been challenged, let's listen to this guy. And he was like, yeah, they have to be rock stars. They have to be the best blue-eyed, you know, really turn it on. Because they probably got the lead from yesterday. They've had no right to win this business. They've built up no loyalty and anything else there. So he says, we try to get to them way ahead of the time that they speak to realestate.com, our version of Rightmove. And that's absolutely nail on the head for me, that is there. That makes a real point. And these things that Ishi's doing consistently, his team are doing, is at the right time, they say, well, who's the person that has actually stayed in contact with me when all of the others, probably my own agents, hasn't bothered staying in contact with me? It is XYZ estate agency, and they're going to be the first one.
Okay, come back to the original question. Why are good valuers who are damn good closers not very good at basically picking the phone up?
Well, let's be honest.
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection is one of them. But let's be honest. You know, if you are employing valuers, they should be so busy doing back-to-back market appraisals and listing appointments. They shouldn't have
the dollar production thing there,
to sit down and make serious volumes of calls to previous clients. Yeah. You know, that's why it should be a symbiotic approach with, you know, us supporting that branch and those values.
It's interesting. I had a very frank conversation with an estate agent in the West Country who wanted to set up like a hub-based system, and he said that he wanted basically damn good valuers who worked for the corporates who would basically generate their own business and get out there. And I said, you're looking for unicorns, because it's really rare to find somebody who can close well and really just pick the phone up. It needs a different type of mindset.
Can I give you the things that I can tell you with certainty? I'm probably, as you are outspoken in this, but I can tell you the two things that you can do as an estate engineer that will make you more money than anything else and more successful. The first is from a structural point of view. If you're a multidiscipline brand, it's bringing together the sales CRM system onto the same platform as the letting system, so that you have transparency, referrals can flow between. That's the first and most obvious one. That's free and easy to do. And by the way, probably 70% of agents in the UK don't have that facility at the moment. The second one, and the one that I get against, just because I have seen the best agents around the world, is creating a client services telemarketing hub. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's the Foxton's thing, what you said in the previous video.
Absolutely. You can't get the specialisation, the numbers without it there. It is always within 2 years the most profitable part of your business, bar none. And I can say that, and every single one I've done there. Start small, so either work and create one of these hubs yourself, or bring it to somebody like Ish.
So I'd say, I mean, it's all very good if you've got 5 or 6 branches, but if you only got one branch, you can't employ someone, can you? But you could outsource it.
Absolutely.
Because you don't do your own boards, do you? You don't do your own EPCs.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but you're just going to send me crap leads, aren't you?
Absolutely not. Fully qualified. Have to be moving in the next 12 months. You do play a slightly longer game than your low-hanging fruit that agents deal with day by day. But we're converting 32% of our appraisals into listings, so 1 in 3. If I'm being honest, that figure is slightly jaded. We have some agents who are converting upwards of 50% of our appraisals. We have some agents who are converting between 15 and 18%. So
what does that cost them?
£75 per market appraisal.
It's not bad.
If that appraisal lists, it's an extra £25.
So £100 a listing?
£100 a market appraisal that develops into a listing. If we book in the listing appointment, it's £150.
And by the way, one of the things we disagree on is I think that's too cheap.
I mean, yes, you do. And we charge a small monthly fee per branch as a core cost.
But the key thing is that that's after the. So one of the other things I loved about Ish's model was he came out there and said, everyone can have a trial. It's a month, isn't it?
That's right. So there's no setup fee. There's no monthly charge. There's no contractual obligation. So we suck it and see for a month.
So someone can come along and basically try you for a month without any commitment.
Absolutely.
Do you know what we've had? We've had a number of people that have tried to do the mystery shop on us, so they're thinking of doing their own, they're setting up their own hubs, client services, and they've been quite candid with us after they said, what's the point? You know, at the end of it, they moved it over, and that's really nice to be able to have that sort of feedback from there. And in fact, a lot of the companies we're doing now, we knew that we were going to be right for mid-sized companies and the smaller ones we spoke about, but actually the ones that are coming in equal numbers are the larger organisations to just say, this is just too tough an area to do.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the likes of Nick Neal, who I believe you interviewed.
I love him. Yeah,
I do as well. Yeah, I'm pleased. I would have put my high heels on if he was sat on the sofa with me today. But he actually.
That's at the weekend.
but believe it or not, we're working with a number of the UMove franchises, and there was a online valuation from Nick Neal, and lo and behold, one of our team rang up Nick, and he was very impressed with the call. So nice. You know, we welcome mystery shops. In fact, I like to do mystery shops on the agents that we're working with or engaging with, to find out what the customer journey is like, you know, from that side of the fence. So, you know.
But there's the thing, there's no trick, there's no hook or anything else there. Yeah. Try it if you don't do it. And I think it's all but one, there was something else going on there. Everyone else has gone on to...
Well, yeah, so we're upwards of 90% retention following the trial. Yeah. There's actually only been one agent that I disengaged from, because obviously there has to be a decent ROI in it for us. So if the data is fruitful enough, then we will continue to work. There's only been one agent.
So what would you say is the best leads? Because again, if you've got skin in the game and you're being paid for it, are you going through mailing lists, lost files?
Yeah, so potential vendors, so people who had market appraisals carried out or pre-appraisals registered an interest but never actually had one carried out at the time. Lost MAs, big one. Applicants, both active and archived, who have properties to sell on the market, not on the market, selling privately.
And how often do you need to hit these people?
It's consistency. There is, as much as you can have a rule, there are so many variables that you have to use an element of initiative. With a new lead, it's fairly cut and dry what type of call plan you're going to put in for those new leads. But when it comes to historic prospecting, you have to look at each case individually.
Basically, you leave it to your guys to decide when the next time they're...
Well, within reason. I mean, look, if you have a motivated seller who had a valuation carried out 6 months ago, who's wanting to bring their property on the market in spring, that would be a more relevant prospect than someone who carried out an online valuation 2 years ago, who's had 5 or 6 calls or attempted calls, but never actually.
And are your staff motivated that when you get paid, they get paid about?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's in their interest.
Absolutely.
And that has to run all the way through, as we said.
Yes.
If we're doing that for the do to the staff.
Okay. And what do your best team do that really make them have the secret sauce?
Oh, that's a big question.
It's that energy drink for one of them.
Energy. I mean, look, it is a shots on goal game. There's no doubt about it. It is volume. It is speed, efficiency.
Yeah, but you must have some. You must have some Gary Linekers, and you must have some.
Do.
What's the lad? What's the lad? The one who's 250 calls.
No, 320.
I mean, you just can't hit these. I used to do cold calling. 150 calls was, you are drained, exhausted by the end of the day.
It does depend on the CRM that you're working with and the ability for that to be able to.
But hold on, I'm not impressed with quantity. I'm impressed with quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do they do?
Well, my top salesman, the record for a day is 9 market appraisals.
Wow.
9 appointments. 2 of those were listing in a day, working on historic data.
That's impressive.
So,
if you think about it, they're just going in and just finding it for you, and you're only paying for what you get.
That's exactly right. These will be lost in the system, ghosts in the system. So
I think that one of the interesting factors about it as well is, look, there are some, I wouldn't say secret, but there are some techniques and scripts that work well, of course, that, is all there in the IP of ProspectEngine. But again, the most important thing about it is the consistency.
We're going to get some of that in another video. It hasn't told you that.
We'll come back to you now.